Are you ready to lace up your boots for the ultimate adventure? Just imagine it, leaving the daily grind completely behind, stepping onto a trail surrounded by these massive, ancient pine forests, and actually making your way toward the roof of the world. Sounds pretty great, right?
Well, let's dive right into this. 4,380 meters. To put that into perspective for you, that's over 14,000 feet high, literally. This is the absolute peak of the journey we're exploring today. Now, at this kind of altitude, yeah, the air gets pretty thin, but the rewards, oh, they are absolutely awe-inspiring.
Welcome to today's Explainer. We're breaking down the ultimate guide to trekking Nepal's Gosaikunda Lake. We're going to cover the whole shebang today, combining top-tier logistical data and some really inspiring insights from leading trek operators, specifically Nature Excursion and Green Valley Nepal Treks, just to make sure you are fully 100% prepared for this incredible Himalayan journey.
So first things first, let's establish what actually makes this destination so incredibly special. Gosaikunda isn't just your standard stunning alpine lake. It's a sacred lake system tucked right into Nepal's Langtang region, and it holds this deep spiritual significance for both Hindu and Buddhist pilgrims. Actually, every single year during the Janai Purnima festival, literally thousands of devotees travel here. They bathe in its holy water seeking salvation. Meaning, you aren't just hiking here, you're walking a centuries-old pilgrimage route. How cool is that?
Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover discovering Gosaikunda Lake, the best time to go and costs, the 7-day trekking itinerary, life in the tea houses, and finally, preparation and safety.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, Discovering Gosaikunda Lake. Let's get a real sense of the natural beauty waiting for you out there.
It's honestly mind-blowing to think about the sheer scale of these peaks. You're going to be treated to these breathtaking, completely unobstructed panoramas of Longtang Lorong, which sits at over 7,200 meters, and Ganeshimal, towering up there at 7,422 meters. But hey, it's not just the mountains. The trail itself is totally alive. You're going to pass through these lush, vibrant forests of rhododendron and oak. And oh, if you're really lucky, you might even spot an endangered red panda hanging out in the Longtang National Park. Seriously, keep your eyes peeled.
Okay, now that we're thoroughly inspired, let's get down to brass tacks with Section 2, Best Time to Go and Costs. Because trust me, timing in the Himalayas is absolutely everything. What's really fascinating about this trek is how your experience can completely change just depending on the season you choose. You basically have two prime windows. First up, we've got spring, so that's March to May. This is when the trail literally explodes with color. Entire sections of the forest are just blanketed in pink and red rhododendron blooms, and all the wildlife is waking up from winter. Then, on the flip side, we have autumn, September to November. Now, this is peak trekking season for a very good reason. The monsoon rains have just washed away all the dust, leaving you with these brilliant blue skies and crystal clear mountain views. Both of these windows offer really stable weather, so it honestly just boils down to your personal vibe. Are you chasing blooming flora or those razor-sharp Himalayan panoramas?
And looking at the cost breakdown provided by Green Valley Nepal Treks for their 7-day package, it's pretty interesting how the pricing scales. If you're tackling this as a solo trek, it starts at $525. But, and here's the pro tip, if you bring friends or join a group, that price drops. A group of 2 to 5 knocks it down to $475 a person, and a larger group, say 6 to 10 people, brings it all the way down to $425. And keep in mind, that covers your guide, all your permits, accommodation, and your meals while you're on the trek. When you think about it, that is incredibly accessible for a truly world-class adventure.
So, what exactly are you going to be doing for those 7 days? Let's step into Section 3, the 7-day trekking itinerary. Let's map out your daily adventure.
All right, here's how this journey actually unfolds. Days 1 and 2 are really all about just getting into position. You'll take a scenic, roughly 5 to 6 hour drive out of Kathmandu over to Dunche. That's a lively little town sitting at about 2,000 meters, and that's where your trek officially kicks off. Then, on day 3, your boots finally hit the dirt. You'll be hiking up to Chandanbari, also known as Singompa, which is at 3,330 meters. You're passing through gorgeous pine forests, and get this, you even get to stop at a local yak cheese factory. Then, day 4. Day 4 is the big one, the major ascent to the lake itself. After that, on day 5, you'll start retracing your steps and descend back to Dunche, setting up days 6 and 7 for your journey back to Kathmandu to wrap up the whole trip. Let's just zoom in on that day 4 climax for a second.
Because wow, this is where the physical challenge really meets that spiritual awe we talked about earlier. You leave Chandanbari and you're pushing past the tree line into these desolate, rocky trails. You're going to feel those chilly breezes, the air is noticeably thin. But then, after passing Buddha Temple, you don't just see one lake, it's actually a sequence. First you discover Saraswati Kunda, then you hit Bhairav Kunda, and finally, the mighty Gosaikunda Lake itself, just gleaming right there at 4,380 meters. Let me tell you, it is a thrilling, completely hard-earned victory.
But where do you actually sleep after a grueling hike like that? That brings us to Section 4, Life in the Tea Houses. And spoiler alert, you can totally leave the heavy tents at home. So it's pretty crucial to understand what these tea houses actually are before you go. Based on the trek details, these are these tiny, family-owned lodges that really serve as the absolute backbone of Nepal's trekking culture. Now, don't go in expecting a luxury resort, okay? Expect minimalistic, wooden rooms with twin beds and some nice thick blankets. The bathrooms are usually shared, and, well, while hot showers are technically available, they'll cost you a little extra, and fair warning, they aren't always steaming hot. You can charge your devices for a small fee too, but most importantly, they serve incredibly hearty meals. We're talking plates piled high with traditional dal bhat, fresh momos, and piping hot noodles. Exactly the kind of fuel you need for the next day's hike.
Honestly, one of the most interesting features of this trek is basically its unofficial motto, disconnect to reconnect. Seriously, once you trek past Singompa, just do not expect a stable internet connection. But that's kind of the beauty of it. Instead of just staring at a screen, you're going to be sitting around a warm stove in the dining hall, swapping wild stories with fellow trekkers from all over the world. It's essentially a forced digital detox, and I promise you, it is absolutely a huge part of the trail's authentic charm.
Okay, time for a slightly more serious conversation. Let's move into Section 5, Preparation and Safety. We definitely need to cover this before you start packing your bags.
So look, anytime you're up over 3,000 meters, altitude sickness, or AMS, is a very real risk, and it requires following some strict safety protocols. First off, walk slowly. This isn't a race, guys. You have to give your body time to acclimatize. Second, hydrate constantly. Third, make sure you're eating those high-calorie meals we just talked about back at the tea house. Fourth, pack some medicinal supplies. Actually, fun fact, locals totally swear by garlic and ginger to help with the altitude, so keep that in mind. And finally, step 5, strictly avoid smoking and alcohol during the ascent. You have to respect the altitude, always listen to your guide, and hey, if you feel a headache or any dizziness coming on, do not ignore it. Safety is absolutely paramount here.
But when you prepare, right, the reward is just immeasurable. Nepalese mountaineer Kiran Gurung actually puts it perfectly. He said, "For me, the mountains are more than just a place to trek. They are a source of inspiration, a connection to nature, and a way of relaxing your mind and soul with peace." I feel like that just perfectly captures the whole essence of Gosaikunda. It's a massive physical test, for sure, but ultimately, it's this profound spiritual and mental reset.
Which brings us to our final thought for today. The trails are out there waiting for you. The tea houses have the dal bhat cooking, and those sacred waters are literally sparkling under the Himalayan sun right now. So the question is, are you ready to find your own peace at 4,380 meters? Start your training, pick your perfect season, and get ready to take that first step. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. And hey, happy trekking!